Did you say now? We're live?
What up, virtual people? Welcome to
We're not
episode
live. No, we're live.
97 of VCR Redux, where we take your favorite franchises out of the analog era and bring them back to 2023. I'm your host, pop culture punk Chris Stiles, joined as always by my co-host with the most, film professor Ian Klink.
I have the power.
Yes. And we have two radical guests on the show tonight. First up, the third leg of our VCR tripod himself. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. Mac Daddy Mickey Torres is back on the show.
What's up, everyone?
Or as I
And
call
rounding
him,
out this righteous
Evelyn.
crew, he's a co-host of Best Around and guitars from the band Crash Romeo, the latter of which his newest music video, Your Name Here, is available on YouTube now. Steve Anderson is back on the show.
Hi, thank you for having me back.
And before we
Absolutely.
get started here, guys, I do want to take a moment to just acknowledge some people in the chat that are here every week. I want to throw a shout out to Angie Saunders and Mike Riffraff Saunders. They're a couple of mashup geniuses, and they never miss a show, and they have done so much. So many of you are watching this show based on their recommendation, so I want to throw a special thank you to them. And any rate, we are here today to celebrate Skeletor, honor the mullets of the universe, and to help He-Man get his groove back. That's right, folks. This world needs Masters of the Universe 2, Multiverse of Magic, and we're here to give it to you. But before we can find the musical key with the Casio, we need to talk about how Masters of the Universe came into our lives and what we love about it. And of course, that includes everyone watching the live chat as well. Was it Love at First Laserdisc, Vital VHS? Hit us up in the chat and let us know how Masters of the Universe came into your lives. So, Steve, do you remember the first time you watched this groundbreaking 1987 canon masterpiece?
So I want to say that I probably saw it on TV at some point eventually. I had no He-Man, the Masters of the Universe background whatsoever. At all. I was not necessarily a fan. I didn't have the toys. I wasn't whatever, I had nothing like that. And it's funny when you brought this up to me, I was like, I want to do this one. Specifically because I wanted to go back and revisit this movie that I haven't seen since I was a child, just once, like vaguely, and yeah. So that's,
it was a thing. It happened. So I mean, so you're a young tot and you've never seen the cartoon show, and I
never really watched the cartoon show. I never really had the toys. I was like a Ninja Turtles kid all the way, you know what I mean? Like,
did you recognize Dolph Lundgren? Had you seen Rocky IV already?
Yes.
That's Ivan Drago with long hair.
Yeah, but yeah, at that point, whatever time I'd seen it, I knew who he was. Yeah,
okay,
from
so
Rocky
you're like
IV,
7, 8, maybe you're watching on TV, like a WGN Sunday afternoon kind of
yes,
thing, probably.
I know I'd seen it.
WGN.
That's
how next week's movie came into my life. Thank you, WGN. So, and I know from having rewatched it with you that it obviously did not later become a cult hit or something that you look back on with fond memories or an endearing point of view.
Very confused. Yeah.
Very confused. Okay. Well, this is a movie that definitely can confuse a lot of people, even the Canon studio heads themselves. But we will get to all that in due time. Till then, Mickey, I'm curious because you're a little bit older than we are. So how old were you the first time you saw this movie?
Well, it's 87.
Did you see it in 87 in the theaters?
87, not in theaters. I'm 11 years old.
Okay.
I saw this on HBO, I believe.
Ooh.
So 11, 12. I mean, like,
Okay.
I had already made an agreement with myself that I was entering, middle school, and there's no more toys.
Oh, you were becoming the Mac Daddy.
Yeah, so I was
no more little McNugget.
Yeah, so I was like, I was a huge fan of the cartoon. I played with the toys all the time. I had the toys. I loved it. When this came out, I had already I'm not playing with toys anymore. So I wasn't interested in seeing it in the theaters. And I can't remember, it's a very weird time for me, like that era, because I don't remember seeing commercials as much, trailers and this and that for movies. And I just don't remember this being a thing. Like there was a Masters of the Universe movie.
I don't think this was marketed much at all.
That makes sense. No, I mean,
but I remember it coming on HBO. Like I remember just coming in, at some point, and I saw like Dolph Lundgren as He-Man. And I'm like, what the is this He-Man? And then like saw Skeletor and this and that. I'm like, they made a movie? So then I had to wait to see it like again, like I waited for the replay or whatever the case may be. And it's very weird. Like this movie, like for some reason, and not on like it just reminds me of like, Big Trouble in Little Tokyo a little
China.
bit.
Little
Yeah, Little China, Little China, because I'm remembering the
Little
Showdown
Tokyo.
Little Tokyo with Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, right.
What are you, me this week? Like, get your movies right.
They're
Like,
all
what
they're
Steve's been
all-
doing that too. It catches.
me,
It's
I have.
contagious.
To me, these movies are kind of all lumped in. Like they're just like they kind of like. I mean, and I'm not taking away. Like obviously, I love Little China, Showdown in Tokyo, not as much, but it just
So somehow you lump Masters of the Universe with Big Trouble in Little China and Showdown Little Tokyo. I mean, I guess Showdown Little Tokyo, so they both got Dolph Lundgren.
yeah.
But,
It's just the vibe, the vibe, the whole thing. I don't know. It's weird how my brain works, but sometimes it's also probably like I probably saw them on HBO all around the same time or slowly like within each other. Or
it was
I don't
around
know.
the same time period.
Yeah,
mean,
I don't know. I just kind
Except
of
for Showdown Little Tokyo, that was in the 90s.
that was in the 90s.
I
But
get
like,
Big Trouble and
like what, like
I get
90 or
that.
91 or something?
Yeah, I get.
but
I
they
get,
may have. But when I did see Showdown Little Tokyo was on HBO too, so it might have been something where they played Masters first and then they put Showdown or something,
I
vice
still
versa.
feel like Showdown was late 80s, but I could be wrong.
I don't remember.
If
Honestly,
you
I
know
don't
when you're in the
remember.
chat, hit us up. Let us know.
I just lumped them together. So any event, HBO is where I first saw this, and I didn't hate it. It's an entertaining like. I mean, we're gonna get into it, whatever like that. But like, my whole big gripe with this movie were the added characters. Like, I wanted fucking Orko.
Right.
Like, I'm like, I didn't want this.
Steve wanted Beastman.
Yeah,
Beastman
like
was in
you
it.
got
He was in it.
Beastman.
Yeah.
Beastman
Yeah,
was in
well,
it. Not a
he's
good
the only
Beastman.
one, right? Yeah.
Not a good Beastman. He looked more like a
No.
werewolf.
Who am I talking?
real
Who
Beastman.
are you people? Like, what is this? Like, it was a great Beastman. Are you kidding me?
That was horrible. That's a horrible.
Get
Okay,
out of
okay.
here. Get
all
outta
right,
here.
Ian.
He wasn't even
Professor.
orange. He wasn't even
done.
orange.
No,
I
no,
never
no.
know. I swear
The
to God,
people
I
in this
never know.
room don't deserve my story anymore. I'm done. I
No, okay.
quit.
First
Off
of
my
all, the
mic.
audience, the people in this room might not, but the audience at home does.
That's fair.
And
You all
second
know.
of all, I
Yeah.
never fucking ever know if Ian is going to be on the prosecution or the defense of a movie, and it's a fucking roll of the dice either way. So let's hear make your case. The floor is yours, Senator.
Oh, baby, I remember to the day. It was 1989. I'm in Humboldt, Iowa, and we had a great movie theater then that this is about, I mean, I'm let's see, what, 89, I'm like 5, 6.
Okay.
I'm getting in kindergarten. So I remember
You saw this on a
watching,
late play, but I like it.
well, I remember watching He-Man the show, but I wasn't there when it was like 83 or 84. Like, I wasn't there then. I was a baby,
Yeah.
but I had a few, I had a few of the toys. Like, I'm sure my
Right.
parents grabbed a couple of those. But I remember this theater that we had. It was a one screen theater, but the owners had a VHS rental store as like a side business in the theater. So you go in the theater, you go over here, but go over here and it's the VHS, the VHS store.
Okay.
And
that.
oh, it was the best. I very fond memories of that theater.
There was a thing like that in Illinois. The
It
Catlow
really
It was,
Theater.
right? I mean, it's
That's a
smart.
good idea.
It was smart.
The Catlow Theater in Illinois had something like that. There was a sandwich shop right next to it, and you could take your sandwiches into the movie, and the sandwich shop rented VHS tapes. It was amazing.
Smart move.
Yeah.
Smart, genius. Absolute genius. But I remember I saw the cover, the great Drew Strutton cover.
Struzan.
Streisand, that's what I said. That cover on that VHS, and I'm assuming I
It is
knew
glorious.
He-Man. I'm assuming I knew He-Man. I'm assuming I knew the cartoon. I don't remember it a whole lot, but I mean, I remember it now because years later watching some episodes. But as a kid, at that age, I don't remember it. But anyway, I got the movie.
It's not a
And-
good rewatch. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I rewatched the TV, but This
cartoons.
movie was everything. I mean, I probably rented this every time we were getting movies. You know, if my sister was renting a movie or dad and mom were renting a movie, I was getting Masters of the Universe. You know, and
This was your Teen Wolf 2. I used to get Teen Wolf
Mhm.
2 on rental a lot.
you sick man.
Demented.
I do like I do like
rules.
Teen Wolf also. I do
Yeah.
like that movie. But no, I remember watching it all the time, and I remember around that time the new Adventures of He-Man came out, and
Oh.
one of the first
Okay.
He-Man toys. Look, bad show. I get it. I'm on team it's bad. But I remember getting the toy, and it was so cool because he had a sword, and I remember to this day the hand moved, like it slid, you know, so he could be like go out but not like stand still, but his sword would go out, and you know, just adjusting that hand. I remember doing that for that toy. But I always rented Masters of the Universe. So I did not know Rocky 4. F that. I watched Rocky 4 and I'm like, there's He-Man. What's
Oh my
He-Man
God.
doing in this movie?
Wow.
That's
Red
funny.
Scorpion. Why does He-Man have a sword? What is this? Universal.
Oh,
What?
okay. Well,
Jean-Claude
don't get me
Van Damme-
started on Red Scorpion. Red Scorpion's a fantastic film.
Oh, it's a great
That's-
movie. Don't get
That's
me
one
wrong.
of Dolph's best.
but to
That's
me-
easily-
I love his Punisher.
Oh, that's
yeah,
great
Yeah,
too.
yeah, he's
That's
got
what
a
I'm
great
saying.
Punisher.
To
Yeah.
me, Dolph Lundgren though is always He-Man. He's not Drago. He's He-Man.
Come to think of it, the
Oh.
first thing I might have seen, like recognized him from, might have been the Punisher movie. When did that come out?
Movie. That was like
89.
89,
Yeah,
right?
90,
that
something
could have
like
been
that,
that could have been what I really noticed him from, because that would have been something I would have really would have been on my radar.
That Punisher movie must have been made on just like gas fumes and cocaine like
Oh,
residue.
yeah.
But it was
I don't know, you know.
but it was so good. Like
It's
as
so
far as,
good.
like,
I know.
yeah,
Oh,
like,
Louis Gossett,
it's
dude.
so dark. Like I take that Punisher, like up until the new Punisher with John Bethel, like the TV show, like or the
Yeah.
Netflix Punisher, like Dolph Lundgren is my Punisher. Like to me, like
There's
like
a lot of people
I
that feel that way.
I did like the Thomas Jane Punisher, but I would still take the Dolph Lundgren Punisher over that one too.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
in retro, I think I
But
feel
he is,
you on that.
but well, of course, he's a walking comic book. I mean, look at that.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that's impressive.
yeah, he doesn't even have to speak the language, man. We
But
just
I
got,
do-
you know,
Now, granted,
Steve
but
didn't
I-
even know He-Man. He just saw this guy in a loincloth.
I
It was
do
like,
Look,
what?
remember-
he's no Prince Adam. Like I get
No.
it. He's not Prince Adam. He's
But
not.
I
He's
do
not the
remember
He-Man
him
from the
being
show.
too.
But
I do remember him like thinking to myself like He-Man was like more jacked than Dolph Lundgren. Like he looked a lot thinner in this movie.
so I told you guys I didn't know anything about this, right? And like watching the movie, they give you this brief intro, like, you know, like text scroll.
Yeah,
And it
best
made
intro ever.
no sense to me at all. Like no sense to the point to where I could, well, because there's so
it
so
was
much.
trying to be
Chunk of your
Star
audience
Wars.
is too
lore,
young to
and
read
there's-
anyways.
There's so much
Yeah.
lore and
Yeah.
canon that go into this.
But they read
and
it.
they just breeze right the fuck by it. And then all of a sudden you're just in this movie and they don't explain who anyone is, to the point where I went ahead and tried to, the first thing I came up with was the new animated series that Kevin Smith
Oh
Yeah,
put
yeah.
on.
yeah.
So I
Right,
watched
right,
the
right,
first
right,
couple episodes of that just to see how much I'm not fundamentally not understanding about this character, this movie. And there is a lot that this movie just leaves out completely.
They cut out a lot of things. There's a story behind that. I'm sure.
Yeah. It's an
Right,
interesting story, but there's a lot to it. I still don't know if I fully grasp it, but
I
it's
mean,
wild
it's-
how they just throw you into it.
This isn't like The English Patient. You don't need to like really get it. Like you don't really need to get
There
like.
it is.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
it's
but-
Skeletor, it's He-Man, and go.
Yeah,
You
guess.
know what? We got our English patient reference. I know the airborne reference is coming. So hopefully Sean Gold is watching in the chat.
Don't ruin,
So I'll-
don't ruin
you
my
know, I'll-
Masters of the Universe with that piece of garbage. Don't do it.
Well, don't miss out. Follow Airborne Movie Experience on Instagram if you're a fan.
Or
So
follow
I'll
people
get to my
farting on YouTube. Equal to each other.
so I'll get to my discovering the great canon masterpiece, Masters of the Universe, masterpieces of shit of the universe in just a second.
What?
I do want to. No, I love this movie. I love this movie because it's so bad it's terrible. But we'll get into that. We will.
Yeah,
I
for
do
the,
want to.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say
No,
just for clarity here, and I didn't not like this movie necessarily. I'm not saying that.
That's true. I know Steve when he'll complain if he doesn't like a movie, you know,
If
like
I
anyone
could
else.
zap the three of you like Lizard Man to disappear, I would.
I like this
Like,
movie.
that's-
I'm not saying I don't like this movie. I like this
Yeah.
movie.
This
Yeah.
movie's got some great stuff.
You say
but
that
our-
like, oh, I like Vienna sausages. Well, yeah, like you like them, but no, you don't eat them all the time. Like that's how you said it, Mickey.
I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not gonna be 5-year-old Ian that's like literally sitting there going like, "This is the best movie in the world," while eating your gas station pizza and your little.
I love
Your
Ian
Vienna
with his
sausages.
sausage. I love Ian with his sausage party analogy while four nerdy dudes discuss 1987's Master of the Universe. You know, it's aptly fit. Very
Actually,
meta.
what I
So
what
far,
I
our
like
most
about
meta
the
joke
movie is
97.
actually
Yeah. Really, it's how about the reunification of Germany?
the cinematography of this movie is so quaint.
Yes, you know, Godard was quite the director in the late 80s. We were discussing
real
whether it's
Godard.
Godard or Goddard, the director.
Goddard.
Steve's like Gary
Goddard.
Goddard. I'm like, oh no, it's Godard. This is very
Then you
Is
had
it Goddard?
totally Godard.
Yeah,
Is
Bill
it Goddard?
Bill
No, I'm
Conti
Joe-
did the
I'm
sound.
Goddard.
Bill Conti did the score.
That's a good point. Bill Conti.
Yeah.
And you know what? The man
Which is a
never
total
says no
ripoff.
to a
I
paycheck. He did
full
the
on-
theme song to American Gladiators.
It
but,
sounds
mean,
like Superman.
it sounds like
like
Superman.
Superman.
Well, he
well, it's
did
because that's what they
Superman.
use for temp tracks, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
Conti's like, fuck it, I'll take the paycheck. I'm gonna have a Karate Kid movie to do for another year, so
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, didn't he do
Um,
Superman?
Bill Conti? No, that was John
No,
Williams.
John Williams.
Oh, it was John
This is-
Williams. So he
yeah.
flat out ripped off. I thought Bill Conti did Superman, so I was like, well, you're ripping yourself off. That's okay.
Yeah, no.
Surprised
But,
there wasn't a lawsuit.
Any rate,
I
I
think
do
John
want to
Williams
shout.
was all right.
So I do want to shout out everyone in the live chat. I see Alex Bonafonte, Angie Saunders, Miyagi Do Forever, and Gareth Green in there. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Alex Bonafonte says, just got released from the hospital, shattered tibial plateau. Oh my lord.
Oh
well,
man.
our best recovery, well wishes, good vibes, everything sent
Hey.
your way, my man.
Since
thank
you're
you
not
so
going to
much
be
for
doing
tuning in.
anything for a little bit, pop on Masters of the Universe.
He's suffered enough, all right? Just put on a good movie like Airborne and you'll feel a lot
Yeah,
better.
that-
You feel good about the world, you know. Miyagi Do Forever
Ian
says, Ian left. Miyagi Do Forever says stayed in the flicks and watched it twice. Wow, I wish I could have seen this
Yeah.
one on the big screen. I'm always jealous of people. who
That's
do
what I'm
that
talking
stuff.
about. Listen, there are people in this world who get this. All right. Obviously, I'm talking to three guys who don't get it, and that's fine.
I get it. We'll
no,
get
you
there.
don't.
We'll get
No,
to me
don't-
getting it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chris. Tell your story.
Well, I
We're
gotta
so far
finish
off
with the
the.
chat here. I see Gareth Green in there. I love He-Man and Masters of the Universe movie growing up and still own the movie.
Yes.
Another satisfied customer.
Yes.
You know, I said I love this movie. Miyagi Do Forever said it was VHS and DVD. Gareth Green says, I heard in a documentary that part of the set that was going to be used for Master of the Universe sequel ended up being used for the movie Cyborg. I think that is like 95 or 98%.
That's true. Yeah,
I
That's
think
true.
there's another movie that also used those sets because that's how canon rolled like back in the day. Like I think it became part of I want to say Highway to Hell, but that wasn't even a canon movie. So I'm getting my wires crossed. But maybe it was Superman 4. Like they
Oh yeah,
started
I can
sucking
see
funds
that.
from other movies into, you know, they were trying to studio out and do these big tentpole releases. Broke from the $1 million movie model, and that is what broke canon films, ladies and gentlemen. But I also see in the live chat Meg Klink. I say, hey, but we got in free to the movies. Wow, well that is incredible.
You got in free?
We got in
that is
free.
pretty awesome. Well, thank you for tuning in, Mama
Yeah.
Klink. We're always glad to have you with us in the live chat.
You know, I know exactly what she's talking about. The my dad's a minister, and the owner of the theater was a member of the church, so he let
Oh,
us
that's
in
awesome.
for the movies for free. So
That's awesome. So you guys.
that's why we went to go see so many movies, because
See, maybe
when
that's
we
why it's so
moved-
memorable too.
when we
I
moved, we
let the
didn't go to
priest
movies
watch
ever.
Police
That
Academy
makes
5
sense.
for free, and now I'm going to heaven. So take that.
Hey, they probably did take us to go see that. That was Police Academy 5. What a good one. I like that.
Oh, well, that's for another day in the past. But so my first time with Masters of the Universe, it was on TV. It may have been cable, like a late 80s form of cable. I think it would have had to have been because I probably saw it in 88. So it probably was HBO as well, Mickey. I was like 3 or 4 years old, and I did know He-Man the show, and I was like, oh my God, He-Man the show, it's live action. I can't believe it. What a world we live in. This is fantastic. I'm going to sit down and watch it now. And I remember as a kid,
you hyped it up too much right there, buddy. You hyped it up too much.
You know, it didn't deliver the way that like the Ninja Turtles movie delivered like a year or two down the road.
Oh man.
I just remember didn't hold my attention quite to that level.
Ooh.
Like I liked it and I would rent it and watch it again every couple of years. But it wasn't until it came out on DVD that I started to like, all right, let's go back and rewatch this. And I like learned like, oh my gosh, wow, this was a pretty flawed movie. And then you start to learn the history of canon films and like them running out of money and literally turning the lights off mid-production. And again, if you're a fan of canon films, our good friend Dustin Nino and Christian Smock over at Retro Fiend Radio, best canon and martial arts docs on the internet, one-stop shop, don't miss out. But the canon films just broke from their model, and they spent too much on this. They spent too much on Over the Top. They spent too much on a couple Tobe Hooper movies,
and
Life
Superman
Force,
4, right? Those are the
Texas
big
Chainsaw
three.
Massacre 2, yeah, Superman 4 as well. Though that's what broke fucking canon films, and it sucks because for those of us who really loved the meat and potatoes of canon films like Revenge of the Ninja, American Ninja, all that kind of shit, you all of a sudden you were out of business. There was nothing for you to rent,
I'm sorry. Ian right now looks like he chopped off his body.
I literally
Looks like you're in the movie.
I had to scratch my leg, and this is what happens.
Ian out here looking like Mrs. Voorhees in Friday the 13th Part 2. Jason, mother is talking to you. Jason.
I look like I'm part of the poster. Hold on. Wait. Where's it? I can't do it.
But there you go.
Sorry.
The difference between, like I said, like I was older during the time. So like He-Man for me was like really like my childhood. Like I was playing with He-Man like hardcore.
What was the break in the time period here when the show and the toys were at their height of popularity, and then how much later did this movie
say 85 hit? I think was like the
84 85
because this movie was
86 it was probably receding, the numbers.
Well, there's a great documentary if you guys watch
there are some
it's called The Power of Grayskull.
Oh, I love that documentary.
That's a great documentary.
I freaking love that documentary.
It talks about all like how it started, why it started, the whole the reason for the. I mean, the model. I mean, He-Man started the whole like let's do a cartoon to sell the toys. I mean, that really was. Yep. That's why there's a show. It was for the.
And the rule was, if memory serves, you can't advertise the toys during the show that it is, right?
Yeah, that was.
So that's why they would do like G.I. Joe. They would advertise Transformers toys, and then you watch Transformers, and they advertise G.I. Joe toys.
Yeah, what was that? Was a rule? It was how it. What
it was? That was an FCC regulation.
Yeah, because it was
you're exploiting children through television
and subliminal messaging.
Well, because the shows were just a half-hour toy commercial anyway.
That's what it was, and that's
I think somehow they had to give a pass to Captain Power, not to really divert everything. But for those of you who don't know, Captain Power was a TV show that you could buy toys that would interact with the signal inside the TV signal, and you could get shot. Right? That's a different. I think that might.
Yeah, Captain Power. Oh yeah, no, Captain Power. Yeah, it had the little whenever the
and like if you got hit, like your guy would shoot out of his cockpit. Like
because it looked like it was like a 3D like on the chest. The
Captain
problem
Power
is that ruined the tubes. It ruined the tubes of your TV.
Did it really?
That's why they had to discontinue it.
Holy shit! I didn't fucking know that. We got to do a Captain Power episode, folks.
Heck yeah, we do.
Anyway, getting back to the Masters of the Universe. I don't know. It's something that, yes, basically what happened was the show was going away, and that's probably the only reason Canon was able to afford the movie rights at the time. And then Canon overspent on it, and the only reason Canon was willing to even overspend on any movie, especially this one, was because they had like some degree of matching funds from the toy makers. They were like, all right, we'll put up half the money, we'll put there, and Canon just like kept on like, oh, we'll get $5 million at the end, and then we don't have it, so bump more,
Was that Mattel?
The toy company dumped a lot more money than they planned to into the movie, and they literally said to everyone involved at one point, they said, we don't care how different this is from the show or anything like that. What you have to do, you do whatever you want, but this movie needs to be a hit or we're dead. And of course, it was not the case,
They
and the
sunk it.
toys died.
See, I
It
was-
made way for
It
you know,
did
Teddy
die.
Ruxpin.
But
to
it's
be the
also
next
like
big
the
toy.
first live action movie based on a cartoon that I can remember. Like, you know, there was no Thundercats, there was no Transformers, there's
Well,
no
interestingly
GI
enough,
Joe, no GI Joe
Gareth
live
Green-
action.
Gareth Green in the chat says, He-Man Thundercats, I loved and always wished for a Thundercats movie. I'm surprised that we haven't gotten one yet. When like Transformers and G.I. Joe and all this shit came back, I kind
Yeah,
of expected
but would it be
Thundercats to come
good?
back.
I mean, like, do you really want to
Oh.
see hairy He-Mans running around on screen?
Well,
Do
you
really
you
wanna
also
see
saw the movie. You also saw the movie Cats, right? No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They've
If
obviously
they look
showed
anything
us,
like that, yeah.
they've showed us that
So
live
give me the
action
canon
Cats
version.
are
Thunder-
Reuse
good.
all those sets and
Thundercats with
costumes.
digital butts. Like this.
Right.
I know there's like a bunch
This
of
would be
like
brilliant.
on YouTube.
Is that
I
right? Is
think
that
there's
what
a-
they did?
What's
What?
that?
They put digital butts in the cat movie?
There was a
The
there
Cats
was
movie? Yeah.
they
Oh my
did do a
God.
version where they made it very like authentic, and it
Mhm.
did not go well.
No.
Yep.
Wow. That is
That's rumor. I can't say for fact, but that's what I
talk about hindsight. But
Oh, well,
That's
look at this
terrible.
guy.
Fucking terrible.
Look at this guy.
yes,
Take a
mic drop,
bow,
mic
sir.
drop, folks. Thank
So
you.
this
thank
this
you.
movie-
movie's I think you know say this movie's really interesting. Like whatever. It's very evocative of his time and also like the canon film sensibilities to a degree. But it kind of follows in the same trend that a lot of other movies in like its same wheelhouse would fall into, in the sense that like Ninja Turtles had Kino, and like these newer Transformer movies had to get Shia LaBeouf in there to like, you know, to be
Yeah.
the person that you can relate to, the relatable character. And in this
This is
one,
like Courtney
they had
Cox's second
Courtney
movie
Cox
ever.
and her boyfriend, whoever
Yeah,
I don't know
Was
that
this
actor's
after
name.
Cocoon the
but-
Return?
But
Yeah.
so
Before, I
yeah.
think.
This
Oh, isn't it?
before,
Yeah.
this before, man.
What was their first movie then?
she did a
Courtney
TV
Cox.
No, before this she did
I
a
know
TV
she was on Family
show.
Ties
Yeah,
She
but
did another show
in the
that,
Springsteen
where she
video.
played. That was like a
That
she played like
Springsteen was.
Well, you said
before
her
too.
second movie.
Yeah, it was her second movie because she did
was the
like some
first?
other on her IMDb or whatever like that. There's another movie. I don't know what it's called, but like
she did a show where she played like a teenage superhero. But
Oh,
that was
wow.
a TV show. Yeah.
Wow, I love the humble beginnings of
That's
these kind
right.
of later to become megastar actors.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right. They have that like Andrew McCarthy guy that we called him. Like, I guarantee you, he was cast because he looks like Andrew McCarthy in half the
And
shots in the movie.
that's probably the biggest part of the movie that
Oh my God,
I don't
like,
know if I understand or if it
respect
works for me.
Robert. Like, what is the matter with you people? Like, did you watch this movie at all?
Oh yeah, yesterday.
yeah,
You
we watched it yesterday.
haters. Like,
he was
Jim,
fine. I mean, I have no
No,
problem.
he's not.
with-
He's not a bad actor, but like,
No.
it's just so distracting how much he looks like Andrew
Well, the
McCarthy
pro-
that you're like, okay, that's
here's the-
obviously
here's-
why they
here's
cast
my-
him.
Here's my thing. I mean, the story behind it, you know, Canon wanted to do this, obviously, but the cheaper way of doing it was basically the Jason Takes Manhattan approach, which is really Jason Takes a Boat. This really
Right.
isn't Masters of the Universe. It's
Yeah.
not Eternia. It's He-Man on Earth, because that
Yeah.
saved money
In
I
one
mean, it's
small
cool.
town.
And
yeah.
I so
Yeah,
wanted them, like, you know, I was like, you know, the one beat thing that I wish we would have gotten that we didn't get was she was going to move to New Jersey. Like, I almost
right.
wish that like we would have waited till she got to New Jersey.
Not only that, but she was going
So
to
it
move
could have
to
been
New
He-Man
Eternia?
Saves New
You're
Jersey.
She was
talking
gonna-
Avenger, back
Yeah.
off. You're fine.
She was going to
Yeah,
move
yeah,
to New
that's true.
Jersey on the night of her prom.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I never really bought that a little bit.
Yeah,
but
that's a little odd.
I
Like, I'm leaving
fucking let me
tomorrow.
just say, I really wish we got a scene where He-Man goes to the prom, and somehow
then
the
how-
prom, and somehow the prom is also a costume
Yeah, but
party.
how old is
and
she
they're like,
supposed to
"Wow,
be,
man,
too?"
great costume!" Like,
This
Well,
movie's
have
got
you
enough
seen
Back
that-
to the Future fucking
Have
vibes
you seen
to
that
it.
YouTube video where it's like He-Man and Skeletor do like the Dirty Dancing numbers
No.
together?
No, I don't think so.
They actually got like real big, bulky, like what He-Man the toy actually looks like kind of guys.
Yeah.
You know, like a
And he
Prince
holds
Valiant
Skeletor
wig.
up over his head.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's a great video.
So
What?
this movie was she did Down Twisted was the movie she did, and they were both
Okay.
done at the same year,
Same
Okay.
here. yeah.
Okay.
and it was before Cocoon.
Before
Gotcha.
Cocoon the Return.
The Return, yeah.
Don't confuse the audience, studio audience.
Yeah,
here.
well.
Oh, because that's
I-
really gonna mess up our
I
audience
kind of,
here.
I kind of
Hey.
hope that our audience
I
knows that
rented
Courtney Cox was
Cocoon
not
to
in the
see Courtney
original.
Cox. If that's what you did, you get what you deserve, and you live with your choices. Like, don't.
VCR Redux told me Courtney Cox was in the original Cocoon.
These people on this show made me do this. Me.
I love it.
I
Can
hate
you
them.
believe it?
I
Can you
love the scene
believe
where
it?
Courtney
Fart.
Cox plays basketball against Wilford Brimley and Don Amici.
But no, but so like that's my only issue. And I'll say this: I actually love the opening of this movie. The first 5 minutes,
Well, you would.
Steve, I have to disagree. I think the first 5 minutes is one of the smartest script writing moments ever. Like
It's
this,
Star
all
Wars.
right, all right, I
It's
wanna hear
basically
your
Star
opinion.
Wars.
Like,
Yeah.
but it gets straight to the point, and it's like.
It's
That's
telling
true.
you.
This movie does move. Actually, Chris had a really good analogy for this movie, and I really liked it a lot. I'm thinking about it.
Stop and start,
And
yeah.
Yeah, from it's like that scene in Ferris Bueller's Day Off where the principal's running past all the doors of the classrooms and he stops briefly and walks casually. That's kind of
Through
like the
each window.
pacing of this movie. Yeah, like
Yeah,
reminds me of. Yeah,
But this also
It-
started my huge crush on Meg Forster.
Oh,
Evelyn.
Meg Foster, I love her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
she's
yeah,
great.
yeah.
I mean,
She is great.
he's
Yeah.
just got this really creepy vibe.
Those
to it. She just scares the
eyes,
shit
those-
out of me. Those eyes look like they could shoot fucking mind control beams
Yep.
and like make you do some fucking like Village
See,
of the
but
Damned
again, every
shit.
time I saw him, like that's Evelyn. Like, what's
Is
Evelyn
it-
doing in this movie?
No,
Like,
but I also like. I mean, like, and then They Live. Like to me, her most memorable movies for me are He-Man and
yeah.
You just
They
gonna
Live.
you're just gonna shit all over the Stepfather franchise then? That's
No,
what
I'm
you're gonna
not.
do?
I mean that's good stuff
Terry
too.
O'Quinn
But
would
like, but I
smite
just
you.
to me, I remember Masters of the
Father,
Universe
I-
and They Live as
Oh,
the
no.
movies.
Oh no.
Ian, do you think
He-
if I was more familiar with this property, that the movie that I would have
No.
spent no, it wouldn't have helped. You don't think?
No,
Like,
no, it's just it's
oh.
He-Man. Like, listen, there are two kinds
Hey,
of
you-
movies in this world. Okay,
You're overthinking
Okay.
this, Steve.
No,
It's
That's
fucking
what I do.
He-Man.
it's look. You can watch Highlander and you can get into the whole like theory of the whole thing, but it's like it's people cutting off people's heads. Like, I got it. Like,
No.
thank you, Christopher Lamberto. Like, I get it. Like,
Berto.
Lamberto.
I added the O.
Did
Yeah.
you like?
I like it.
But
I get what you're
this
saying.
guy, this man here,
Lamberto.
all, please tell me you all agree this man deserved an Oscar for this movie.
Frank
Frank
Langella.
Langella
Frank
is-
Langella?
Yeah,
Oh my God, like,
he's great. He's great.
The best.
I
Yeah.
mean, he believes that he's Skeletor.
And
Like,
he
it's
did. He
and he did this
rocked
for
it-
his kid.
Yeah, and he rocked it out like this.
And he's
he
in
makes
shit
it-
makeup too. Like I gotta say,
Yeah.
like they even back then on a low budget, they could have done a much better job
could
with
have,
the
absolutely,
makeup.
yeah.
Like
It
and,
was
and
bad.
he but
It was
he
bad.
elevates that terrible makeup. He really is fantastic.
There's a lot of this
Yeah.
movie that looks really good, like really,
Yeah.
really good, like way
Yeah.
better than any.
great matte
and-
paintings. I honestly,
yeah.
Richard
there were some
Edlund
really
did
good
some
ones.
great special
mean,
effects.
They in the very intro scene, they're like zooming into a Mac painting, and I'm pretty sure that's not what you're supposed to do
Oh,
with
it's
those.
totally
but other
matte
than that,
painting,
yeah. Well, it's just you're not supposed to really focus on those and zoom into them.
But-
But, other than
Yeah.
that, they look really great. They're
I like
awesome,
that.
yeah.
Like, there's a version out there. If you guys, do you guys know the movie Dune? The David
Yeah.
Lynch Dune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a version out there, the longer, the quote unquote roadshow version
The Heaven's
Where-
Gate cut.
with the what?
The Heaven's Gate cut.
Yeah, where they basically had to explain to the audience, Dune, which to explain Dune is difficult. I mean, to the point, Dino De Laurentiis actually gave out pamphlets at the theater with like basically a cliff notes of what Dune is. I mean, who wants to go like?
Oh wow,
So
that's wild.
But they did this roadshow version where they used the matte paintings and the conceptual art to actually explain the story, and I
Like a
love it.
storyboard.
Yeah, and I love it. It's very like the art of it is just gorgeous.
Mhm.
And but I know that it's the conceptual art, but I love that, and I love that they did that at the beginning of this movie.
Oh yeah, that was cool. That was cool. Yeah.
But, I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like the actual stuff in Eternia, best part of this movie. The parts I don't like are when they go to Earth.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I like all the shit that everyone hates. Like, I love James Tolkien from Back to the Future, just hamming it the
yeah.
fuck up in this. Like,
Yeah.
just, like, I'll tell you what, kid, I know what this is. I'm going down to Charlie's shop right now. Like,
I mean, at one point you think this movie is Back to the Future. Like,
Right.
you think, like, it's
It's
like...
true.
I love
It ends- it
the
ends like
80s,
Back to the
I love
Future.
the 80s keyboard player with the dream,
Yeah.
character.
Doesn't he
He's
say
got to find the
Slacker
musical
too?
notes. I love Gwildor for whatever the fuck he like. I actually
Billy
hate him
Barty.
until he
You
comes
liked
back in
him?
drag, and then I'm like, oh, I love this character now. Why isn't he like this for the whole movie?
Oh,
This is so much more
Mickey,
fun.
Come on, he delivers the best line ever. Gwildor, I was gonna share. I was gonna share.
No, I think it should have been fucking Orko. Come on, man.
Who's
I don't know,
Orko?
man.
They-
Orko-
I would watch.
Orko's the
we're almost a
original,
sequel,
like,
we are
he
a
was a-
sequel
They couldn't do
pitch
the
time.
effects.
Oh, the
I
little
would watch
ghost
a
guy.
fucking Gwildor
Yep.
movie.
Yes.
I would
Okay, thank you.
totally.
So I guess the deal is that they probably didn't feel like that. So is the deal that they felt like they couldn't budget to have Orko make sense or look real or
Yeah, Richard.
whatever?
Yeah,
Or is the
Richard,
deal that they just wanted to make new toys?
No,
to be-
Richard Endlin, like they all wanted to do it because again, it's kind of like what they did with Ghostbusters 2. Like if you watch Ghostbusters 2, they're very different, right? Well, that's because the real Ghostbusters came out. I mean, Annie
The
Potts.
cartoons.
Yeah, Annie
Had to
Potts
look like the cartoon character.
was made to look like the cartoon.
Yeah.
Right.
Ernie Hudson looks different. He
had to
looks
shave
like
his mustache. Yeah.
he shaved the mustache. He looks like he does in the cartoon.
Right.
They did that on purpose because kids were gonna go see it. Same thing with He-Man, but Richard Endlin and them couldn't, for the amount of money it would have taken to do,
Orko.
It just would have cost too much money and time.
Yeah.
And
that's what I
Canon wasn't
figured.
going to do that. Canon was like, in a cartoon you can draw it, that's fine, but now, I mean, we have the technology now to do.
No, but you could have
sure.
done. You could have changed Orko a little bit to make him like basically the same. He could have walked and done the whole thing, whatever like that.
Yeah, but I also think it would have changed the movie. I think they literally went for a Star Wars with this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
To the point where when we get,
I never like another thing too, like being a fan of the cartoons or whatever like that. I'm like, He-Man doesn't have fucking guns.
Oh, I know.
Like he never used guns and stuff like that, whatever the case may be. And then like Skeletor never had like these like Star Wars, stormtrooper.
So that I know, that I saw on, or I read somewhere on that, is that initially one of the rules Mattel had given them was that He-Man can't kill anybody, and that He-Man can't physically harm any other person in this movie or whatever. That's like one of the
So
rules
things
they
don't have
initially laid
faces
out.
aren't persons.
So
Yeah.
robots, so they needed a robot army of stormtroopers for him to, fuck up.
Yeah.
I mean,
throughout
that's
the
like
movie,
every
too.
Avengers movie now, though. They fight like some robot army or some,
Yeah, I guess they also kill people, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
occasionally.
Yeah.
Occasionally.
But I think they wound up throwing that out the window anyway. But it was already too late.
Yeah, eventually,
Yeah.
like you can make it rated R. Fuck it, who cares? Just make a hit, please.
Yeah. So
But yeah, I
They
mean,
got
like
such
you had
panic
like
state.
you had like so many like weird choices, but like I still liked it. I liked, and also like being me, around that time is me getting into music a lot too. So I was just like, oh, cool, it's music. They're like they're at a music shop and this and
kind of,
that.
yeah.
He's in a band. He's in a band and everything like
There
that.
are a
I'm
lot
like,
of
oh,
Sort of.
man.
I mean,
keyboard.
he
Like, I
goes to a
almost wish
sound
they
check
I
by
almost
himself.
wish they
but
would have
yeah.
like I wanted to see the band perform. I'm like, yeah, right. You couldn't
There
blow
was-
this
there was-
shit
They
up.
couldn't afford a band. They spent it
No,
all
there was
on-
no band at the sound
They
check.
spent it all
No,
on
it's
Blade's
just him.
costume.
The
Just him.
unspoken truth of the movie was that he's not in the band at all. He's just the sound guy.
He's a roadie. He's
He's
a
the
roadie.
sound guy. He's the roadie sound guy.
He's
But
a
he
music
dreams.
master.
He's got big
though.
dreams, and he's got a hell of an ear.
It's a
he can
song
pick
maker
out-
master.
So none of you guys, none
Right.
of you like the villains. Like, what was
No,
okay.
because they were
I
all.
like the Rogues Gallery villains.
I
Yeah.
do not. I do
henchman
not.
guys.
Like,
Well, see, you're
I'm
familiar.
sorry.
You're familiar with the initial villains, and I was
Yeah.
not. So those guys, the bounty hunters, were fun.
Like
They
I
were
got
cool.
those.
They were-
You could have given me Stinkor. You could have given me like freaking.
They didn't do a lot.
They
kinda
gave you
just-
they gave you Mrs. Space Pants though. Come on,
Oh
this
yeah,
is Space Pants.
Mrs. like
But
hot Space Pants.
At least I got Evelyn.
At
and
least
that was good.
I'm gonna tell you what I did. I fell in love with Chelsea Field. This
That's
movie gave
the Space Pants.
Gila, Tila.
She's space thong.
Space
Come
Thumb,
on,
yeah.
Chelsea Field. Like,
yeah.
take
Oh,
my
yeah.
Good
money
stuff.
now.
Good
She had a
stuff.
powerful mullet going herself, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was feathered. That was maybe permed.
and she's man at arms' daughter.
Daughter.
I'm just
yeah,
going to be
yeah.
asking you guys
Right.
questions through this whole podcast.
Well,
Sorry.
you know, we are. I should.
I'm
I
picking
should
it up.
preface. We are past the pitch time. And there
Oh,
are
okay.
some in the live chat. So we should be pitching. Should have been pitching sequels 10 minutes ago. And
No,
I
we're
have
just
some
gonna talk
silly-
about this awesome movie. There's no sequel. There's no pitch. This movie
Oh,
is by itself.
go fart
You know
yourself.
what I want, what I want, or like, I mean, like, what I would love is like we've never seen He-Man as an old man, like kind of like the old, like the
The
Conan,
King Conan theory.
You want
King
Old
Conan?
man, He-Man. Yeah.
old man He-Man, like fucking he's on the throne and everything.
Well,
like
tell you
that.
what, I won't do it without Dolph, and Dolph ain't playing no fucking teenage He-Man right now.
Yeah,
So.
No.
so Dolph could totally be old man He-Man.
Dolph said
or
he would
that.
come back and play the King of Eternia, like
Yeah,
He-Man's
well,
father.
Nah,
In a
He-Man
movie,
is
he's-
the king. Like,
He's still
and you
He-Man, yeah.
would
I thought he
have,
was a
like,
prince.
yeah, well, yeah,
Well,
he's gotta be a king
Now he's
one
king.
day. Now he's
Prince
king.
Adam.
Okay.
It's Prince Adam, and then he gets the sword. The sword of Grayskull says, "I have the power," and then he turns into He-Man. That was
Okay.
Oh, I've got it. He's
Well-
old He-Man, and he has to pass the throne. So it's a
Yep.
romantic comedy where he has to find the ideal woman to raise a,
Well,
a child with. So
Tila's his
it's a-
woman.
Right.
Tila's his woman.
Did
to
you just
marry.
propose
okay, you're
two if by sea, but it's two if by Eternia? Like, I'm
I
done.
think
with
so.
Chris.
I think I just
sounds
might
great.
have. Why
That's
not?
All right, Chris, what's the live chat say?
All right, so
Orko's
live chat,
the
live chat
ring
has some
bearer.
pitches. What's that, Mickey?
Orko's the ring bearer.
Oh,
Yes.
fuck. I'm in. Take my money. So live chat, of course, courtesy of Sean Gold, always the first one to pitch.
No,
Says,
stop.
I'm gonna
don't
love
worry,
this
it's
one.
not what you
hold
think
on,
it is.
hold on. All right, go ahead.
Okay, we lost Ian. So, oh yeah, he's always afraid of what's to come here, but it's not what Ian thinks it is. His pitch is Skeletor returns and wipes out our heroes except Lubick. Now it's up to our favorite ex-cop and his shotgun to save Eternia. It's Eat Lead Eternia. Oh man,
Ah,
I would
Nice.
There
take
you
it.
go.
Yes, just give me James Tolkien. Now it's James Tolkien's story. Yeah, you missed out, Ian. It wasn't an airborne pitch. There is some airborne chatter in the chat, but that's not what
I
he pitched.
heard it. Although I do
Eat
like,
Lead
I
Eternia.
do like, I Chris did a post. Probably my favorite poster Chris ever did was what was it? The principal.
Eat Lead Slackers. Yeah.
Eat Lead Slackers.
Back to the Future 2
That's the
spinoff.
movie of all the movies you made. That's the one I actually want. Like, I want.
Me too.
That. There's a universe.
That's the
out
one
there
I
where
would
that's a
pay
movie.
fucking huge money to kickstart or like whatever. I would do anything to see that with
That is
fucking
amazing.
James Tolkien.
yeah, but I
Oh,
do like
fucking
Belushi,
Belushi.
Oh, James, you talking about the principal?
the principal.
Oh, the principal.
That's a
Oh.
great. We gotta do that on another
Well,
show. But
Oh yeah,
But
we should do that. I love the principal.
Mhm.
I mean, I would say honestly, truly, if you're gonna do it, obviously the key is you do a movie, a multi-million-dollar, big budgeted Warner Brothers sponsored movie with Prince Adam. And they've been trying. They've been trying to do the actual He-Man story for years.
Well, who could play Prince Adam
Really?
now if it's not Dolph? Who plays him in your fucking thing?
I mean,
or whatever that that guy.
fucking one of them Hemsworths.
Yeah, probably.
I honestly like you in a weird way. I know a lot of people for years wanted that. Like Chris Hemsworth as He-Man. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I mean, if
but it's too close to Thor.
Too close to Thor.
It is
It is
too
close.
close, but if you put on a mullet like that,
Yeah.
take my
I mean,
You know,
he-
I will
he-
say, I like to peer into the multiverse and see other versions that like could have, would have, should have, maybe would have happened. I think it would be really funny just to sneak into a multiverse and sit down and watch a world where Patrick Swayze played He-Man.
Oh,
You know,
that would have
like
been
the-
awesome.
on
could totally
Patrick
done it.
Swayze of
I would've
Point
seen
Break,
that.
you know, he's not
At
that
the,
far
t-
off.
at the time, where's the universe where Hulk Hogan got cast to play He-Man? That's what I would have done.
Universe where they made
He
incredible
would have been bigger,
wigs,
too.
or they cured baldness way before he was
He
born.
would have
you
been
know?
better, like bigger. So like, I mean, I don't know. Like I like the old man He-Man, and he's got to
I like
pass the
that, yeah, that's
torch.
good.
You know, Tila's his wife. Maybe they have a kid. Yeah. And that's the prince, the new prince. So it's
He's
not
Prince
Prince
Adam.
Adam. It's not new. It could be Prince Adam. Like, Adam.
that
the
actually
second.
would work though. Honestly, because they didn't say Prince Adam in this movie. I mean, if
Yep.
you're really
No.
gonna do it, it would actually work to be
Yep.
As a
done as
sequel,
Prince
that would
Adam.
work. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
no, like because they never ever mentioned Prince Adam because he was never like not He-Man. He was He-Man from jump.
Yeah.
I mean, I yield to the experts here when it comes to the He-Man lore and the Prince Adam and all
Yeah.
that. You know, I just want Dolph kicking ass, like
Oh, and I want
mullet
Battle
to be
Cat.
feathered. Like
I want
will say,
Battle
that's
Cat.
the other
Come on.
one of the other favorite posters I've ever done was my Mullets of the Universe, and it's got, you know, Dolph as He-Man, Kurt Russell from Big Trouble in Little China, and Stallone from Rambo 3 as like the most powerful mullets, the force of like the hair force of the universe.
So
those are
So this movie probably suffered from the same kind of concept as like the Turtles movies did, in the sense that like they didn't give you the legacy characters that you wanted, right, Mickey? That's kind of like the deal. Like that, like they gave you Choker and Razor, and then you never saw Bebop and Rocksteady. You never got a Krang, you never got a what, you know.
Yeah.
So I think kind of falls in the same vein where now you could obviously have everyone. Like you could have every single character that was ever on this thing, and they could look the part, they could have the costumes. I don't think anyone necessarily looked like they did in the cartoon either. It was, you know,
yeah,
cartoon accurate. So
and you know, and I almost wish like, you know, like the new Kevin Smith Masters of the Universe, you know, hasn't to my knowledge really taken off. So
no, I don't know.
Yeah, it's been more of a fan hit.
Yeah, like
not,
they hoped.
Yeah.
So, like,
I didn't do the numbers they wanted, but
yeah,
it got
I almost feel like it, you know, it would have been awesome if, you know, Kevin Smith maybe would have just done a movie.
Yeah,
You
he
know?
should have.
It could have been animated. It could have been animated.
If he did a movie, anything like the few episodes I watched of the show, it would be really good. I'm sure he seems to have a really good understanding of what he's doing with it. I don't know. Did you watch that?
Yeah,
I haven't watched it.
I'm not a huge fan of it.
It.
I think, and I love Kevin Smith, but I will say that, you know, I like a little bit more He-Man in my He-Man.
Yeah, there's not a lot of He-Man in this He-Man.
Why do people do this? Like, this is the ultimate question of the universe. Like, so many movies do that. Like a Batman movie without Batman. Freaking.
I mean, I get it.
We made Scooby-Doo without Scooby-Doo.
I mean, it's
they did just do that.
I get it.
I know.
Movie without Michael Myers, like, it's the dumbest thing. Stop.
Well, you know what? This is what
I get it.
He's
trying to build the world.
Hollywood does. They see something and they're like, "What if they were sexy teens, like Archie comics?" Steve, you were saying this. Like, they'll bring anything back. You know, it's like, all right, I'm gonna do a Benji movie, but this time I don't think Benji's a dog. I think he's a sexy teen.
Yeah. I get it. I mean, you're trying to build the world and stuff like that, and you know, you want to focus on Tila, fine, whatever. But I don't know. But we're not talking about that. But I just feel like, you know, like if you got a sequel, like I felt like maybe this would be the right time to do it if this was successful. But it's obviously not doing that. And like that, I mean, the toys I don't think are selling because you know, like what?
But
kid
it doesn't mean they couldn't.
What kid
bring
nowadays
a movie
buys
back.
toys?
Yeah, I mean, they brought Transformers back, and it became the biggest box office hit ever. And all they had to do was just figure out how to do. I mean, I'm not saying I love those movies, but like the formula was there, and they really, you know, they worked it and made it happen. Those G.I. Joe movies, some of those did really well too, I think.
I mean, if you were to do it, I mean, honestly, truthfully, you have to almost do this on a Marvel level, where it is so. I mean, you're basically spending more on the movie on marketing. You know, you really, like, you're trying to get a universe started. And almost in a way, like, it would almost be a better business model if Disney bought Mattel and released He-Man through Marvel. Or, I mean, I honestly, it almost seems like that would be the better approach of doing it.
Well, it's not better for mankind if Disney owns everything. They're already they're already holding the entire Fox fucking film catalog hostage.
That's true, but like what other who else would necessarily take a chance on throwing hundreds of millions of dollars at the He-Man movie that we would, you know, actually deserve?
Michael Bay.
But honestly, like,
sadly,
you're really aiming towards, you know, the fans from the. I mean, you're really aiming towards us as
dads from the '80s now taking their kids.
I mean, that's really what you're doing. And
but at the same token, like I will say, like, you know, He-Man is a cartoon that does not hold up. Like you watch a He-Man cartoon
Oh,
now,
yeah,
and you're literally like,
But that's most cartoons from that time period.
no,
Have you seen, well,
Thundercat,
Mickey, have you seen the
Thundercats.
Rambo cartoon from the 80s?
I do like that. I do like it.
I
But
think I'm pretty sure
Thundercats
those-
is a
those
classic.
G.I. Joe cartoons were pretty terrible, right? And so
I still watch those. I can still
Really?
watch the Transformer ones too.
The first He-Man is better though than what they did later on with like the new He-Man and like
The
and
new
like
Adventures,
newer
yeah,
like the
yeah.
one
Yeah.
in like the late 2000s He-Man or the
Yeah,
early 2000s He-Man TV show was just a weird,
I mean, it was a wild time, folks.
like it was a
RoboCop
Seth
had a fucking
MacFarlane
cartoon
He-Man.
show.
Like it was
It
weird.
did.
Like it was
RoboCop
really
did have a cartoon show.
so did
RoboCop,
My
Rambo.
favorite
like you
episode is
said.
the one where he shoots the rapist in the dick.
Chuck Norris had a cartoon show. I love
Yeah,
the
I
Chuck
mean,
Norris one.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, no, yeah.
Chuck Norris and Friends or something like that.
Dude,
Yeah.
the California Raisins had
Mr.
a fucking
T,
show.
Mr. T had a cartoon show.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
But
And a
I mean,
cereal.
I think in this version, you definitely would do that. You would bring back. God, I can never. I always want to say Orico, but that's not.
It's Orko.
Honestly, I think there's a lot of fun
Orko,
things you
yeah.
could do with the character and like the opportunities that were missed. Like I would have loved to have seen like an 80s version of like the big studio version of He-Man, like almost like a Last Action Hero. Like just throw in like other people, like get like Mr. T in there somehow. Get like all the, just make it like some weird meta mindfuck of a movie, where it's like
That's kind of what
multiverse,
this
but,
was, though. This was kind of some weird meta mindfuck of a movie,
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah,
In a
You're
good
not,
way.
get,
little-
I'm
you're
not
not
saying in a
getting a
bad
lot
way,
of
yeah.
you're not getting big stars to say like He-Man movie. Oh, I'm in.
I mean, also, like I really do. I fucking so weird. I'm wired to hate it, but I love that weird Gwildor character. Like I would actually watch
As you
a
should.
spin-off where he's left on
Yeah.
Earth and he has to adjust like the Howard the Duck story with Gwildor. Like, what does he do for a living? How does he find his way?
He's like a creepy
Does
bastard.
he ever find
man.
love?
Well,
He
as long
looks
as I
like
mean,
he looks
you-
like like this is probably why I have a problem with him. He looks too much like a freaking like like a elf or like a hobbit or some shit like that. And you know how
I mean, I
feel
usually
about
don't
those.
like those things either, but I don't know. I like him. I don't know what it is. He's just so
Billy
he's
Barty
the only
can
one
fly.
in the movie that feels like there was like a choice made as to like what his character should be. Everything else is just like, all right, buy the numbers, buy the numbers, buy the numbers, buy the
Well,
numbers.
you know why?
know?
Because they were creating him from zero. So
Right.
they're basically like the only characters that really got like any kind of
Thought up,
backstory
yeah.
was him and maybe not Evil Ling, the new dude Dog or whatever what he was or whatever like that. I don't know. They fucking sucked.
I mean, I think
I'm
the standout the standout characters that really seemed like they were going for it more
I've
than
never
everyone
seen a
else
man
was
give up in one sentence before.
was Wildor and Strickland, and that actor who played that.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm serious, dude. Lubeck was great.
And you did
Everyone else kind
yeah.
of felt like they were snoozing a little bit through this.
Courtney
at
Cox
times,
Yeah.
didn't get Courtney Cox got a backstory too with her parents, and then like,
but like that's
I like
so weird.
I like
It's
how,
so
like-
Dude,
odd.
that was fucking weird. Yeah.
I like how they
Yeah.
literally asked her like, "Where do you want to go?" And she's like, "I just want to go home." And they're like, "Fucking Wildorf or whatever that takes her to Back to the Future, back to the past."
Now her parents are alive. Yeah.
Like her parents are alive, and this
And
and
she
that.
I love
steals
the
their boat
convoluted
keys
story,
and
like-
plane keys and runs out of the house.
And I love
Yeah.
the
The
convoluted
father's,
story of,
like,
like
so
it's my
distraught.
fault they died because they wanted to go to
Yeah.
the beach with me and I didn't want to go, so instead they flew to Catalina and there they met a man named like so and so. Like, it's just like so far.
It
removed.
is the Gremlins Christmas. The
Yeah,
dad
Abraham
got the
Lincoln's
Christmas,
birthday,
where
yeah.
it's just
I like how the father gives up too. Like she literally steals his fucking plane keys or whatever like that, and he's like,
And then
like,
immediately she's
he's
like,
like,
peace.
"Put
She
that
doesn't like
back."
stay and hug her
He's
parents.
like-
She's like, I'm gonna
he's
go see
like-
my boyfriend now. You're back and you're not
he's like,
flying. Like,
"Put that back, put that
Later.
She
back."
wakes up in the most ridiculous nightgown
that
anyone's
moo
ever
moo, that
Yeah.
moo moo. Like I'm like, what are you doing?
realizes
So-
she's in the past.
So there's this talk in the chat. Gareth Green says maybe not do a direct sequel. Maybe it's better to do a fresh movie when he's
Probably
given the
so.
sword. Oh, okay, a prequel. That's not a bad
Probably
idea.
so, because that's
Gold's
the thing
Code
too.
says Gold's
didn't
Code
talk about the
says
sword.
justice. Gold's Code says justice for the music shop owner. Overlord presents to us that Howard the Duck is in the MCU, correctly so. And
Yeah.
Gold's Code with another pitch here. Pitches Skeletor uses the key and travels to Ohio, where he corrupts the preps. Now He-Man must team up with Mitchell in a downhill race for the universe.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Masters of the Airborne. And god damn it, that just sounds perfect. I don't know if we can top that. We're gonna have to try though. So we can get
Well,
back.
Anything will top that.
Snake on Snake Mountain. Snake on Snake Mountain.
Get out of here. Listen, I will say
Like
this
it.
though. The special effects now, I mean, I love the special effects there. I think it's a great 80s special effects movie.
There are some really fun ones, and I will say the
It really
hoverboard,
is.
the hover vehicle sequence is like really a fun 80s action.
Yeah,
scene.
I mean,
Yeah, but that was kind of cheesy because I'm sitting there going like, "This
But
isn't
cheese
fucking
is
He-Man."
part of what we
but
love
when
about
you
the
were
80s.
but when you were 5, you did not know. Don't act
No.
like
No, I was
you know-
11 and 12, or 12 at the time.
Oh man.
And I'm like,
The point is, like, it was just cool. But see, so now to me, like, I Love Masters of the Universe is more like it's a time capsule movie. You know, it's
Yeah.
fun to
Yes.
watch it because of what it was then. But like now, there's so many special effects. I mean,
I did like
Look,
God Skeletor too. That was
well,
awesome.
we're in an era where
yeah,
you know,
that did look pretty dope. Yeah,
people can do an Andy Serkis and just, I mean, all of the
Yeah.
Skeletor characters, all of them could be motion capture, and we can
Oh,
create some really
gosh.
cool creatures. I mean,
so cool. It would be so cool if they did.
I mean, I had the
Yeah.
one that had the face that turned, like you twisted the top, and it had like 3 different.
Oh, yeah,
faces.
yeah.
I mean, that person.
Oh, and
just alone-
Cyclop. No, Cyclop. Oh, you could have Cyclops.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
could
you
have
could
all
even
of
do
these
you could even
characters.
do more with makeup now. Look at Red Skull in the Avengers. Like, look at how much
Yeah.
better that looks than
Yeah.
Skeletor.
Oh, yeah.
in
That's
this.
that's.
Well,
straight
you
up
would have. I
Skeletor.
mean, you'd have a green screen nose right away. I mean,
Yeah.
just to
Yes.
digitally take that out. I mean, you know,
That's
'cause
what I
you
was
could
saying.
see-
It's like it's
you could
more
see
about
Frank
doing practical and
Langella's
then removing
nose,
things.
like-
I think. Yeah.
Well,
The
they did. I mean,
mask.
they did Ghost Rider, right? I mean, you could say you could
Yeah,
you could
that's
do
what
it.
Yeah, that's true. Ghost
Yeah,
Rider,
absolutely.
Skeletor, what's the difference,
I
right?
think unfortunately it's probably just the studios going, no, the kids don't know it. Like like they're so afraid to do something, like, as weird as it sounds, to do something new, to try it with Masters of the Universe without there being already an established movie history, because this one didn't do what they wanted it to do.
I almost feel like, if I had, if somebody said like, okay, you got like, $1 billion to make a live action movie of a cartoon, and you only get one shot, what do you want? I want Thundercats.
Masters of the Universe 2 Judgment Day.
You want,
Give me the,
you want what,
yeah.
Mickey?
I want Thundercats. I want
Don't
an
want
I want an
scary
attempt.
Sword
an
wielding
attempt
weirdos. You don't.
I want an attempt on Thundercats. Like,
I
give
think
me,
I think this
First-
property makes more sense than Thundercats to try to do. To be
Oh,
honest
I
with you,
agree. I
But-
agree.
First
I
off,
just
no Thundercats. Secondly, it's Silverhawks, you sons of bitches.
oh come on.
Thirdly, it's Mask if you're gonna do anything.
Mask would be great.
No,
Mask would be great.
It's the late 80s cartoon Cops, not the 90s.
Oh my
reality
god,
show.
cops! All right, you
Oh,
got me there.
horrible.
Cops.
Yeah.
Now, what are you
That's
gonna mention?
bullshit.
The Centaurians next? Ugh.
I mean,
Don't
they
act like you didn't. I had a Silverhawk sweater, sir. I was there. All right.
I was older, sir. The Silverhawks are late. Yeah. I was babysitting my
Whatever.
cousins who were
Mitchie-
watching the Silverhawks.
Mickey was trudging
I'm
through
in
the jungles of North
Stonewashed
Vietnam while you were
jeans.
wearing your
Ugh,
Silverhawk
yes.
sweatshirt.
I mean,
they've
I
had
remember.
they've had such success with bringing back IP from this particular time period to
Yes.
people like us at our age.
Yeah.
and making
go
you know,
see
and
it.
making
I
it
mean,
huge. Of course, everybody
yeah.
would. And you're right. It's dads our age that would bring their kids. You
Get
know, like
J.J.
and
Abrams
then
on it, and it's a hit. Boom.
yeah, and like yeah, exactly. And all it would take to get dads in our age range in the theaters would be to put this in Eternia, but easily they could do, get
Yeah.
every single cartoon and toy character that ever
Mhm.
came into play, put them on the fucking screen or whatever, and make them look like they did. You know, milk that
Oh
nostalgia.
man, you give me Moss Man too. Moss Man.
That's what I'm
just gonna
saying.
say, there's
I
gonna
wouldn't
be that
mind. I wouldn't
one-
mind. Yeah, a Toyverse kind of like type of thing
Yeah.
where you have
That's
like
right. Beast,
He-Man
Beastman in
and Teddy
this.
Ruxpin and other fucking GI
I just-
Joe.
I want them to do it just for that one dad in the audience, that where they have that one character who pops in there for a second, and the one dad is like, "Ha
yeah, the old give him the old elbow.
And
yeah.
Right.
Rescue Captain
No.
Power, the ultimate toy.
Oh, dude,
Right.
they bring Stinkor, like Stinkor, like
Right.
like.
It's a lot of dads elbowing other dads in the
Yeah,
audience.
that's
Yeah, yeah.
You look down the aisle.
Yeah.
All right. Just give me a buddy cop movie with He-Man and RoboCop.
Battle
Let's just call it a
Cat.
day.
You like
Wow.
bring out Battle Cat too? Oh God, come
Oh,
on.
him,
Yeah, they could do
he
all
has
that
to
easily,
ride the lion. He has to.
Oh,
Yeah.
you
All
gotta
right,
give
well,
him.
what were you gonna say, Mickey?
I'm just thinking about this, and like
You're just thinking about Battle Cat.
I would just love this. I would
Quit
just be
poo-pooing
like,
on it, you turd.
no, I would
Like,
love Battle
Well,
Cat. I would love.
Ian,
you
I'm
know,
turned around. I don't even know what it is technically, but I'm into it now.
I mean,
it's
like-
this, the magic
Yeah.
of this, man. Like
Oh,
that's what
and
it
then-
is.
And then you could have
Oh.
like the different He-Mans, like he could have like the Thunder Punch He-Man. Oh, Thunder Punch He-Man was so cool. And like
Look.
I mean, like there was a lot of cool stuff. There was
Can
so
I ask
many
you,
different.
can I ask
He-Mans.
one more question? So
Yes.
He-Man's power is that he's a muscle guy who has
No,
a sword,
it's
and
the
when he puts the sword in
sword.
the air,
Sword.
I
the
have
sword
the
has
power.
He
He
gets
turns
a
from
little
Thor's
bit
hammer,
bigger.
yeah.
he turns from Prince Adam into
Uh,
He-Man by saying, "I've got the power."
And it's like
or by
Superman
power of
rules,
Grayskull.
right? Like nobody knows that.
It's
Yeah,
like
nobody,
it's like
nobody's supposed to know
Thundercats.
Prince Adam is He-Man. Yeah.
It's like
Well,
Thundercats when he says Thundercats, ho.
but people know that that's the same Thundercat because he looks
It's
exactly
like
the same. Right?
Silverhawks when Silverhawks don't even do that crap. They just are Silverhawks.
But they have
Right.
the same voices. Of
Thank
the
you. That explains
Thundercats.
that clarifies everything. You two. Thank you.
It is.
Oh, look,
10
all I'm
PM,
saying is
so-
Master of the Universe to me. This is what I feel. All right.
Okay.
There's some movies, right, where there's some movies where it's like checks, right, where you pour milk on it. If you leave them out too long,
They get soggy.
it's just gross. And you don't like it. Master of the Universe is biting into checks the first moment you put milk in it, and it tastes so good that you just want more.
Some wild analogies.
That's it. I thought you were going to like another thing.
I get it. I get it.
felt like
Okay.
the first half of a thing. Like,
Oh, I'm
free.
sorry, Bill Shakespeare. Like, what do you want?
I don't know. I just seemed like you were gonna keep going and you stopped. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But it is 10 p.m. 10:01. Time to put these Silverhawks to bed. And just last comments in the chat that I see Gold's Code says DH James Tolkien so Lubeck can return in full glory. I am 1000% in favor of that. Spin everyone off into their own things. I want to know what happened to Diet Andrew McCarthy's music career. Did he ever make it? Maybe you
Yeah.
end up writing jingles for Mentos. Who knows?
He was a song maker.
Alex Bonafonte, though, adds Skeletor is a prep for sure, to which I concur and agree 1000%.
For sure.
So before we wrap things up, is there anything you guys have got coming up in the works you want to let the people at home know about, or just the usual follow me on social media stuff?
Yeah.
Sure. I got a record coming out under Crash Romeo is the band. It's coming out on March 25th on all whatever music streaming platforms. You could check it out. Leave a comment, say nice things. Thank you.
Hell yeah. Mickey, speaking of music, you getting closer?
Yeah, the mixing's getting done now. So
Ah.
like the mixing's getting done. Hopefully this gets done, and maybe in a couple months we can get this thing out.
All right. Well, we look forward to that. Ian, any articles coming or going?
Yes, just this week, if you are on the hashtag cocaine bear train, I gave you one better with my fascinating hairy article on the 1976 Jaws on Dirt ripoff Grizzly. So do check out that article on the B Movie Review here on Fandom.
You know what? I gotta say, you just gave me an idea for a movie, and it's so dumb. But Cocaine Train. Somehow the train does cocaine. Everyone's doomed.
They've been shoveling train into a train.
They ran out of
Cocaine
charcoal.
Cocaine train. I think I can.
There you go.
Nice.
Either that or snakes on cocaine on a plane. Something.
That's a great title. Snakes, cocaine
On a
and
plane.
snakes on a plane.
In the
Mhm.
rain.
There
Into
you
it.
go.
All right, well, that just about does it for us, folks. You fans might want to come back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. when the VCR brick hits back for our Bloodsport episode. As always, if you enjoyed this video, the best way to help is to smash that like button and leave a comment telling us what movie or TV franchise that you want us to cover on a future episode of VCR Redux. And since you're already doing that, you might as well go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow Fandom Spotlight, the Howl 9 Network, Pop Culture Punk, and Crash Romeo. Till then, back up those Betamax, rewind those Laserdiscs, and we'll see you at the movies.
Silverhawks for life!